We start with the quarterbacks. The only thing you might notice about this group is that there's only two quarterbacks. Derek Carr is the undisputed starter, but Cook does not look good as the backup. I don't know if the backup quarterback is even on the roster. As of now though, Cook is the backup because his upside is higher than Manuel, but it's not by very much. For the running backs, Jalen Richard has won the job as the pass-catching scat back over DeAndre Washington. Lynch and Martin were locks from the beginning, and Keith Smith is the valuable fullback that John Gruden loves. The big surprise, of course, is Chris Warren III. He balled out big time during the preseason and has earned his spot. He still has a lot to learn, especially without the ball, but he's too good to not be on the roster. Now we move on to the wide receivers. After Amari Cooper and Jordy Nelson, there's a lot of question marks. Yes, Martavius Bryant oozes with talent, but he must understand the offense to be a reliable third receiver. Harris has experience in the slot and is going to be the return guy. Holton is on the roster mostly for his gunner role, and he's shown the ability to be a deep threat when called upon. The tight end group was settled before the preseason even started. Cook is the pass catcher, Smith is the blocker, and Carrier does a little bit of both. Exactly what Gruden wants in his tight ends, and I have a gut feeling Carrier will play well for us this year. The starting offensive line is set even if it hasn't looked good so far. Parker is raw, but is talented enough to one day be the starting right tackle. As of now, David Sharp has looked good enough to be the backup tackle, and John Feliciano plays all over the interior offensive line. The question is, how well Miller and Penn hold up as offensive tackles. Now we move to the defense and start with the defensive line. The first thing you'll notice about the defensive line is the depth. These guys have talent and have shown time and time again they can get to the quarterback. Calhoun and Brown have played their way onto this roster with a stunning preseason performance. Obviously, the big hole is Khalil Mack. He's the best player and will be on the roster, but the rest of the guys must perform until he gets back. In the middle of the defense, Whitehead and Johnson are veterans who are likely to be part of the base defense. The biggest surprise is Marquel Lee and just how well he's played so far. He's stepped it up big time and is flying to the ball. He's shown up well in coverage so far, but the real test will be in the regular season. This group still lacks talent overall, but they've played well enough that it's not as big of a concern this season. On the outside, man, what a difference one season has made for the cornerbacks. Melvin and Conley are the starters with Worley at the slot, pending suspension. These corners have been really sticky in coverage, leaving very little margin for error. Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie and Nick Nelson played well and have been sticky in coverage as well. It's been a long time since we could be confident about the starters and the depth. This year, the safeties are still a lot like last year. None of them are particularly terrible, but none of them are really amazing either. Hopefully, this is the year Carl Joseph develops into a ball hawk center fielder. I love Gilchrist and his versatility. Harris and Nelson have played good enough to be on the team and provide depth and special teams. As for the special teams, the specialists were pretty much set right after draft day. The kicker and holder have worked together in college and they seem to be doing pretty well so far. We'll see when the bullets start flying though. The main concern is Pinheiro and his groin injury. This is where the special case comes in. If Pinheiro can't go on opening day, then Mike Nugent will hold down the spot until he's healthy. If Pinheiro is healthy, Ian Silberman takes his spot on the roster. He's performed well at tackle this preseason and provides some much needed help.